Hello, welcome back to youtube.com/snapbolt and Twitch TV/snapbolt games. My name is Max and I'm here with a Pauper League for you. I've been enjoying playing some Pauper and this is one of my all-time favorite brews. I think this deck is in a really good spot and it's actually in a decent position in the meta right now compared to usual with Mystic Sanctuary getting banned. People might bring less graveyard hate. That was a problem with like Mystic Sanctuary and other just like flicker kind of return decks in the past is kind of when people just had relics or random bogs for you, it would just like overlapped and like would really hate on your combo. But anyways, this is blue-black Reanimator. This build is sick. I think this deck is really good. I think this deck is honestly close to as good as Reanimator is going to be in Pauper right now until more cards get printed. Let me just go over the deck real quick. I've played it in the past, but here we go. We got 20 lands, 4 Backwater, couple Evolving Wilds. I think Ash Barrens is not as good in this deck as like the Evolving Wilds effects because of the cantrips and such. Couple Bogs. Those are nice because our only Reanimate spell is Exhume. So sometimes if you kill their guys or their guys end up going to the graveyard somehow, you need to Bog to be able to Exhume Crusher and not just like get overrun by giving them a free creature. And 4 Careful Study, that's the main discard outlet. Hapless Researcher is a nice one actually, because even though it's a lot worse than Careful Study, it still is nice because against mono black you can just not crack it to play around edict effects. And it can also just like block sack against aggro, which can be nice. And then 4 Ponder, 4 Preordain, because broken, 4 Counterspell. This really helps protect the combo. A lot of times with this build, you're actually setting up like a turn 4 Crusher with Counterspell backup. So Counterspell is a huge addition to the deck. That being said, Muddle the Mixture is also huge. Not only it protects the combo, or protects your Crusher, I should say, from most of the common removal spells except for Journey to Nowhere, but it also transmutes to find Exhume or Counterspell, which is pretty nice. You can also find Dragon Breath, but you don't typically do that as much. Stinkweed is kind of a later addition to the brew. It's nice because you can play it as like a roadblock, and if you just discard it to Careful Study, you can just start dredging to find Crusher that way. Because sometimes like you draw half your deck and you don't find a Crusher, but Stinkweed helps alleviate that problem. And then 2 Gurmags just as a solid threat and like something else to do. It's nice to have a couple of these in the main, I think, just because if they do have relics and stuff, having a couple of these is nice, and then it doesn't take up too much of your sideboard space. Then, of course, 4 Crusher, Quad Hydroblast, could even be more, but the red matchup's actually already pretty good. 1 Dispel, 2 Annul, 2 Duress, 2 Edict. Just don't like losing to Boggles. And what's nice about these is Muddle the Mixture can find them. Same with the Echoing Decay, Nausea, Shrivel effects. You can find all those with Muddle, which is really nice. And then just an extra Gurmag Angler in matchups where we think it's going to be good, and we're expecting some graveyard hate, because if they play Relic, yeah, they can activate it. You can often cast Anglers through that, and they're not going to crack Relic to like play around Angler because they're trying to stop your Crusher from coming into play. But without further ado, let's just go. Let's jam. Oh, dog just going off at somebody at the door probably. I don't know if you can hear that. All right. Yeah, this deck is pretty nice. It's pretty hard to live the dream of turn 2 Crusher with Haste in this deck. You have to have Island, Swamp, Careful Study, Crusher, Dragon Breath. So turn 1 Careful Study, discard Dragon Breath and Crusher, T2 Swamp, Exhume. But you can, it's not as hard to like get T3 Crushers with Haste. I've had other builds of the deck where you play Lotus Petal as it's like an untapped blue and black source, and it helps like you combo faster sometimes. Like you can even T1 Crusher if you have double Lotus Petal, but it's just like you run out of gas too fast, and I think it's better without it. I was considering to try 2 Lotus Petal in this build. I wasn't sure exactly what I would cut, but maybe like an Angler, maybe a Stinkweed, but those have both been solid. So we'll see. Pretty excited to play this deck again though. I think our red matchup's good, our Tron matchup's good. Any deck that goes really wide like Goblins or Elves is a really bad matchup for us. Keep this hand. It's not exciting, but We have a Careful Study, we have a Hapless Researcher, Ponder to find what we need. We have a lot of options on turn 1. Like we can go just Researcher go, we can go Ponder, we can just lead on Careful Study, although I think that's the worst. You generally want to wait as long as possible to Careful Study. Looks like we're up against Boggles. Until you find your like things you want to discard. So like we want to wait until at least we can find a Crusher. Bog, okay, that's probably not going to matter. Could just lead Ponder. I'm probably not going to need to block this next turn. Opponent with 4 cards in hand. I think I actually will just lead Ponder. It's better to Hapless Researcher later with this hand regardless. And, you know, we already have lands. Muddle does seem a little bit slow. I think I'm just going to any order shuffle this, try to find Crusher. Alright, now we have a second Careful Study. So we can consider just firing off the first one. Helps us get Angler down as well, which could certainly be relevant, depending on the opponent's draw. There's Basic Plains. Abundant Growth, sure. And Ethereal Armor. Rancor. Oh, just a Utopia Sprawl. They probably just drew that. Or they probably would have played it first. Name green, attack for 1. It is nice to have the untapped Black Source because you generally have to play your Black Source tapped with this deck. It's just the way it works. I mean, the mana in Pauper's not great. Okay, there's Muddle. Just going to start with Careful Study now. Hope to hit Crusher. Then next turn we could Muddle for Exhume. Okay, we missed. I think I can just discard Bog plus Hapless Researcher, I suppose, then play Hapless Researcher. I want to keep Counterspell, I want to keep Muddle, and I definitely want to keep Angler. So definitely discarding Bog. I can't really discard Island because I need to play another Island. Could discard Careful Study, but I think discarding Researcher is better. And then go play Researcher, pass. If they play like a what's the name of that card? It gives +2/+2 for each other enchantment on the battlefield, or each other aura, or whatever that is. Then I'll obviously chump block, but depends what they play. If they play a non-trampling aura, I probably am going to chump block and sack it. Yeah, Ancestral Mask. Okay, well, I'm definitely just going to block now. It's a 5/5 hexproof. Okay. I'll just go block sack. This also puts 2 cards in the graveyard if I want to cast Angler, which may or may not be that relevant. Definitely need to get a Crusher into play at some point. Man, double Counterspell, it's just not going to do it. I have to discard one of them because I can't even really leave up Counterspell next turn. The opponent already has a 5/5. And I could, but it doesn't seem good. I guess I can go play Angler, leave up Counterspell. That seems reasonable. I think that will actually buy me the most time. Because it's possible they just play like another Ancestral Mask or the 3 mana +2/+2 lifelink aura. So if I just go play Gurmag, leave up Counterspell, that may be enough. I guess the opponent could have Ram through, which I'll just counter that as well. If they have 2 auras that buff, that's bad for me, but just haven't been able to find the combo. I mean, I kept a hand without the combo, so it's reasonable that I didn't find it. Felt like that was going to be Ethereal Armor. So test and training. I think I have to counter this and just hope they don't have another aura this turn. Muddle's not an effective counterspell in this matchup. This matchup is reasonable because, yeah, there's the Ethereal Armor, so now they have an 11/11. Probably dead. I could chump here, but I think I'd rather just take 11 the first time, because it's likely that they're not going to have another Trample Aura, so I could always chump next turn. I'm going to have to get really lucky from this point. Just get a Crusher into play like this turn or something. Looks like it's probably not going to happen. I'm not going to have time to muddle, so I'm just going to have to try to get like an insane ponder, but yeah, I'm dead here. All right, there's Crusher Careful Study, but then I still don't have Exhume, and I have to chump now. So if I draw Careful Study and then cast it, I basically go down to like 0 cards in hand, Crusher in the graveyard, and drawing a blank card off the top, and then even if I Crusher, I'm just dead. So I think I'm willing to pack this one in. I don't think there's any outs at this point. We just weren't able to combo. That's okay. I think this matchup is reasonable, like I said, and I'm not really expecting them to have graveyard hate. So we get to bring in 2 annuls. Definitely have some hate for this matchup, which is nice. 2 Diabolic Edicts. Actually, having Nausea and Shrivel isn't bad, because sometimes they play additional 1/1s. They even play the 1-mana enchantment that gives +1/+1 and makes a 1/1 to play around edicts. So I don't even hate these. Sometimes they play out like multiple Boggles as well. And I think I want Duress. Yeah, I have a lot of hate. Don't think I'm going to have time for these muddles. I think Angler is bad. I think we need to Crusher. Giving Haste is nice, but I could go down on 1 Dragon Breath. I think Counterspell is actually a little bit slow as well. We don't really need to protect our Crusher as much as just like, I'd rather use like a Null and Duress to disrupt their combo. Hapless Researcher is fine, but I'll just go down 1. I want to keep Stinkweeds and Crushers and all the cantrips, and I want to bring in all these cards, I think. I think Nausea and Shrivel, while they're situational, it's necessary. And we're on the play, so if we just go like turn 1 Backwater and they go like turn 1 Boggle and we go untap land Nausea, that's a pretty good way to buy a lot of time. So yeah, we definitely get to bring in some hate here. I don't think Angler really does anything in this matchup. Okay, well, this is a good hand. I think I'm going to just lead Backwater. They mulliganed. I mean, they mulliganed to 5. If they have a Boggle, I mean, I think they usually play it on turn 1. I don't think there's any rush to play out Hapless as well. I need multiple pieces of the combo. I'd rather just get Backwater into play, and then if they don't play a Boggle, I can still leave up Counterspell on turn 2. So I'm feeling like heavily favored here. Stinkweed Imp is also nice, because if they don't have a first strike aura, then this like kind of brick walls them. Right, yeah, definitely just going for Nausea against the Mull to 5. Just gonna go Island Nausea. Pass. Then next turn I can just likely leave up Counterspell. See if they have another Boggle. Not yet. Okay. Be interesting. Okay, they don't play another Boggle yet. We'll see what we draw here. Getting Stinkweed down doesn't really help. It's like almost better to discard it anyway. Alright, I'm just going to play Backwater and pass. If they are able to find a creature, I'd like to be able to Counterspell it. And next turn I can just Preordain with Counterspell up again. So I'm not in a rush here. Now we just need to find our combo. Utopia Sprawl is 100% fine. And playing it on the land you just tapped is interesting. It just shows they don't have anything. Alright, I'll just lead Preordain. I can still even play Hapless as well with Counterspell up. I'm going to just bottom top, play Ponder, still just leave up Counterspell for any creature. Okay, there's Crusher and Careful Study, so these are great. And Duress is good as well. I mean, I want to draw all of these. Still gonna just leave it Counterspell this turn. They could have. I've seen them play things like Divest and Duress, so I guess I'd rather draw Duress this turn, and then next turn draw a Careful Study. And just pass here. Yeah, this is feeling great. Now I just need to find Exhume. And yeah, they're gonna get their Glade cover back, but we can also find Bog potentially. All right. I guess I could lead Duress. I'm definitely going to be discarding Crusher and probably just discarding Stinkweed Imp because I also want to find a Dragon Breath. I'll just lead Duress here. Interested to see what their hand is. Ram through, Ethereal Armor, Ancestral Mask. I mean, if I just take Ancestral Mask, they're not going to be able to deal with an Exhumed Crusher. I mean, I do want to just counter their creature pretty much no matter what. So I could take Ram through for that reason, but I'll just take Mask. Not really sure what's best there. Discard these two. I could Preordain and even Dredge. I think I'm just going to Hapless Researcher and then probably Dredge Stinkweed. Could also just naturally draw. I think finding a Dragon Breath is good enough that I want to Dredge. Call Dredge. Found a Dragon Breath. Revealed a Diabolic Edict. So now all we have to do is find Exhume. And then we also have Counterspell up after that. Just bottom, top, Annul has got to be good enough. Could sack Hapless Researcher to discard Stinkweed Imp. That's interesting. Do I need this Hapless Researcher? I think no. I don't. Well, there's another Crusher. Do I want to cast Stinkweed Imp? Because I mean, I'm not dredging this at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. I'll just discard Crusher and not cast Stinkweed Imp because I want to leave up Counterspell again for a creature. We know their hand's Ethereal Armor ran through. They just concede. Alright. They just didn't want to play that game. I mean, I guess we would have just found Muddle and then gotten Exhume. So we had him. Now the gig is up. They know what we're on. That's exactly how I want to play that matchup. I mean, opponent mulled to 5, and we killed their creature, so... The Nausea and Shrivel definitely are not as good on the draw, but I still think I'm going to keep them in. A lot of times they'll like still play out a guy on turn 2. Could play around these though, so they do get worse. I think it's worth it because if I have like a late game scenario where I can like maybe tutor for Nausea or Shrivel and then Diabolic Edict their big guy after that, I think it's worth it to have. Maybe I only want one of these. And I want like this on the draw. Maybe that's worse. I think having this is worth it. Just gonna run it back. I think I'm gonna keep this hand. Having the Diabolic Edict is nice. We have a Ponder and a Careful Study to find lands. Some Stinkweeds to discard if we want. Now we just have to hope they don't make like additional 1/1s to play around Edict. We're probably not going to be able to Edict till turn 3 as well. I'm just going to start with Ponder. Just need to find lands, like 100%. Okay, there's Swamp and Crusher. Wow, that's great. These are really good draws. Hopefully I can just Edict them next turn. So I suppose I'm just drawing Swamp and then Preordain. So if they make an additional creature here, that's really bad for me. If they just suit up their guy, it's great for me. I don't even know if I Diabolic Edict yet. I mean, I can just pass the turn with 2 mana up. And then if they play another aura, oh man, they played another creature. It's not what I wanted to see. It's exactly what I was afraid of. So now we definitely do not want to Diabolic Edict. I think I just lead Careful Study because I know Crusher's on top. I don't really want to bottom that with Preordain. So I'm just going to lead Careful Study. Alright, discard Crusher. And I think Imp. I think Dredging Imp next turn is a fine play, and then I can even play Imp. Then that's good against their board, at least right now. That's all we can do. Because I definitely want to play Backwater. Get my top land down. Get another blue source and, I mean, another black source into play. Just hope they don't have like anything too crazy here. I mean, that's good, but I mean, they should have attacked with this too. But now I just have to hope they don't have a First Strike aura. Do I want to dredge Stinkweed? It's actually interesting because I have another Stinkweed in my hand that I can play. I can dredge that other Stinkweed next turn because if I draw Exhume this turn, I'm probably going to want to Exhume this turn. So I think no. Okay, we drew Dragon Breath. Now I'm just going to play Stinkweed and hope the opponent has no Ram Through. I don't even know if they should have Ram Through in their deck post board. I mean, I guess they can kill a Crusher, but that's not going to be relevant too often. Commune with the Gods. Okay, it's not a First Strike enchantment. They put Armadillo Cloak into their hand. Interesting. They could have put Training, but they put Cloak instead. No attack. Okay, Stinkweed doing its thing. Could play another Stinkweed Imp, but then I'm kind of just drawing dead to a potential First Strike aura, like I said. Do have Counterspell, but I don't think I need to dredge. Oh, there's Exhume. Okay, okay. This is really interesting because I want to find another blue source to be able to Exhume with Counterspell up. So I think actually what the line is, this is kind of a funky line. I mean, I can Crusher with Haste this turn and have Stinkweed up, and we know they just drew an Armadillo Cloak off that. So I think that's best, actually. They can sack Rancor, but then they have to sack the land, and they can't kill the Crusher. So if I go Hapless Researcher, sacrifice it, discard Dragon Breath, cast Exhume, it's got to be the line, right? Still have Stinkweed Imp in play. I'm going for it. And then I have Diabolic Edict for later as well. I wanted to be able to... Oh, I don't want to dredge Stinkweed. Or do I? No, I can just dredge it next turn. Okay, well, there's another Dragon Breath. They get to get back a Ledgewalker here, but I don't think that's super relevant. They do have another Armadillo Cloak, so get back Crusher. And put Dragon Breath on it. Yes. And then attack. So they can sack Rancor Land, or they can sack Rancor Scout. It's probably what they're gonna do. They probably want to cast Armadillo Cloak. And they concede. Nice. Got the first one against Boggles. Again, I think this matchup's reasonable. It's close. I mean, it's a solid deck. It just dies to itself a lot of times. They mulligan a fair amount. Let's go round 2. Just switch out for the better chair here. Alright, that was sweet. Deck performed pretty well, seemed to draw well. Not very many players in this league, so hopefully it doesn't take too long to queue up, especially if we keep winning. If I were to make any changes, you know, I'm kind of wishing I did try the Lotus Petals, because sometimes you just need one more mana, but having 4, you do run out of cards. Like, as you saw, I think it was in game 1, like, if we cast that last Careful Study, we would have gone to 0 cards in hand. It's like you definitely run out of gas in this deck. So adding Lotus Petal is just going to exacerbate that problem. Oh, we're against Carves. Trophy Looter, huh? I've played him once before, and he was on Affinity, but I think they play all different decks. So we'll see. This hand's pretty bad. I think I'm just going to mulligan it. It's like, if we draw an island, it's okay, but then we're still so far away from comboing. Maybe it's fine to keep just with double ponder, like we're guaranteed to hit our land drops almost. We can ponder if we don't find any land, shuffle, next turn ponder again. And then we do have double counterspell. We die to a fast deck. I'll just keep. Just gonna play the long game. It's not usually a good plan with this deck. I probably should be mulliganing a little bit more aggressively, but I'll try it. I think last time I played Carves, I was on Mono Green Infect and actually 5-0'd that league. They just had really bad draws and they just like didn't do anything. They just like played a land and then didn't hit land drops or something. I don't remember exactly. There's Exhume. Just gonna ponder. Exhume's great though. Crusher and oh man. There's Crusher, but I can't not shuffle this because I need to have a higher chance to draw lands. So it sucks that we found like Crusher, which we need, but we need lands before Crusher. Alright, well, keep this double ponder hand, probably just not going to hit an island. If I had to guess, our opponent's on some type of like blue, white, red, kind of control-ish ephemerate deck. Okay, there's Crusher. Could just Careful Study, but I think I'll just ponder again. If they spell study straight this, we're just like dead, basically. Yeah. Counterspell. Okay. It's actually, because it's not spell study straight, it's not the worst. Okay, so this is either blue-red control or it's Tron. I could Preordain before Careful Stunning because it gives me one more shot to hit another land. I'm going to do that. Okay, there's a land and an Angler. I mean, Angler seems decent. They probably have Screds though. I think I'm just going to bottom Angler. Just try to find more lands. Backwater's good though. Definitely at a mana disadvantage here. Bonder's Ornament's just pretty insane, surprisingly. Ephemerate here. Yep. So I knew exactly what they were on. Makes sense. That deck is very good. Alright. I can Crusher with Haste here, and they don't have any counterspells up, so if I hit an untapped land, I think I might win. Untapped land. No. No. Oh no. 20 lands in the deck, and Ponders and Preordains just missing. Let's bottom this. We gotta top this, because now if we draw another island next turn, thought I topped. If we draw another island next turn, I can Exhume with Counterspell up, but at this point that might not even be enough. Man, if I just hit untapped land there, I think that would have been the game. Because then I Crusher with Haste, they have to sack Muldrifter land, take 8, but now they're just drawing infinite cards. That's brutal. We had a good chance to win, I think, but now I don't think we have a very good chance to win. This maybe another Muldrifter? Archaeomancer, Ephemerate, yeah. Oh, Counterspell? Okay, so if we draw land, we can beat that too. If we get this Crusher into play, they may not have answers in their decks. Ah, brutal. Just brutal. I mean, I kept a one-lander, but it was Ponder, Ponder, Careful Study. Alright. Let's discard Crusher. Maybe just one of these Muddles. I mean, I guess Counterspell is just better than Muddle at this point. I can keep muddling. Ooh, actually, maybe I just discard Counterspell and then I muddle for Exhume. And then I can keep muddling for Exhumes. Alternatively, I can just get a second Exhume and then still have, like if I discard Muddle here and then transmute this Muddle, my hand will be Exhume, Exhume, counter, counter, counter. So I think that's probably better. I'm going to do that. This still probably isn't going to be enough. Just our draw was just too clunky here. This Prismatic Strands doesn't do anything, but I'm going to get Exhume and pass. Brainstorm. I'm surprised they didn't get back the Ephemerate, but they can probably get it back next turn. I think it's just going to be too late at this point. Oh, they have another. Oh, okay. Cycle for Plains. Yeah. They're almost to the point where they can Scred a Crusher as well, which is not where you want to be in the matchup. So my plan is just to go Exhume, fight over it with Counterspell. They're probably going to win that counter war and then go for the same play again next turn. I'll play Island Sure. Go for Exhume. It's going to at least draw Counterspell. Counter back. Then they'll counter again. Oh, they can just do this every turn. So they had a second Ephemerate. And now they get back Ephemerate again. Okay. They got us. They got us. They got us in the walk. We just needed to hit the untapped land to Exhume right then. So we want Dispel. Not even sure if Crusher is like good enough in this matchup. We definitely want Duress. Don't think we want Hydroblast. They may have Pyroblast, but I don't think we want to really be fighting on that axis. Guess Angler with Haste could get the job done. And we can just cast it with Haste too, which is nice. Could take out even 2 Dragon Breath because I just can't really afford to go down too much on resources in this matchup. Stinkweed's also not great because it's not really doing any blocking. It's just helping find the combo. And Hapless is also like the weaker of the discard outlets. Maybe I keep Crusher or keep Stinkweed. No, let's just do this. Could also keep in 3 Dragon's Breaths because it still is pretty nice. Like in game 1 we were very close to being able to surprise them. I think it's better just to try to play like a Crusher without Haste. Just having 2 Dragon Breaths is totally fine. I like siding some number out generally. Oh, same thing. Alright, I'll keep again. I think this time I'll lead Preordain on the first one. Top any lands, bottom anything else. Alright, there's a swamp, that's good. Not the ideal land to draw. I would have rather drawn like a backwater or an island, but at least I can hit land drops. Right now I'll go Ponder. There's another Ponder, so I'm not going to shuffle this. And Muddle is actually not bad as well, because I can transmute Muddle for Exhume. I think I'll just careful study here. It's possible I wasn't supposed to do that because I might have needed to keep it for a discard outlet when I find Crusher. But also I knew my top 2 cards. I didn't really want to bottom them. And I had 2 Dragon Breaths sitting in my hand. So this way it's like a little more efficient, better use of my cantrips. So I can just transmute Muddle this turn, but I don't think I need to yet. I'll just keep casting cantrips. Counterspell, interesting. There's Crusher and Careful Study. And Island, wow. It's like everything. So I can't really cast anything this turn. Not really at risk of any duress or anything. I think I'll just draw Island. I suppose I can just still Ponder now. It's not terrible. I can also just keep Ponder because I want to draw the cards that are on top of my library anyway. I think I'll just Ponder. It's not a good use of the Ponder, but I can draw a card. Alright. Don't really need this Stinkweed at the moment. And pass. So now I feel like I'm in a reasonable position. I can draw the Crusher, and I can transmute for Exhume, shuffling away the Stinkweed Imp. So our top card's Crusher, our next card after that's Stinkweed. Opponent plays a 3rd land. I assume they just have to pass. They do. Now's the perfect time to just transmute this. They can't counter it. We get Exhume. Then I'll just pass the turn, I think. I don't want to Careful Study and have it get countered. I was like, this cannot be Bolt my face. Yeah, playing against Carves here. Like I said, I've played him once before, but it wasn't on this deck. I think this matchup's okay for us too. That deck is just very good. So certainly going to be tough. I should play a league with that deck. So they ponder shuffled. Wonder if okay. They don't have double blue here. The Raven Inspector, sure. So now I get to go Careful Study with Counterspell backup, hit another land, and then Exhume with Counterspell backup potentially. There's Bog, okay. Lead on Careful Study. I'm going to counter this just because I need to resolve this Careful Study, get this Crusher into the graveyard. It's going to be hard to find another discard outlet. And man, we don't find an untapped land. So I need to discard Crusher. I can discard Bog or Hapless. I think bogging their graveyard right now is actually better than playing a Hapless Researcher because they have a lot of cards like Archaeomancer that we saw in the last round that can interact with the graveyard, and getting back Counterspell here is pretty brutal for us, honestly. So I'm going to take this line, bog them, and then I'm going to play Angler with Haste. Now, depending on what they do, I can go for this Exhume or not. And it's nice that we found both the Dragon Breaths because I'll still have an extra one. It's a May, so like I'll activate one and then not the second. And then I still have one in the graveyard for this Crusher Exhume here. I'm not going to fire off this Exhume into double blue. But if they tap out for stuff, I certainly am going to cast it. Yeah. If they don't have double blue up, I'm going to try to cast it. Scred. Okay. So they can go land. Next turn, Scred my Augur, but they have double blue now. Counterspell? Man. Just wondering if I just go for this Exhume. If it's getting any better. Alright. Let's do it. Because also they're going to be able to chump this turn. Said I wouldn't do it, but I am going to. Okay, they might not have it yet. Please one time, miss. No counterspell. They put Brainstorm into their hand. That's not going to do it. Wow. Get Crusher. See, the reason why I went for it there in the end, I said I didn't want to, but if I attack with Crusher, they go block with Augur, then later when I Exhume, them getting back Augur is actually huge. So I can't really allow that. So now I attack with both. And in this situation, you actually don't want to play Backwater, because if you draw Careful Study, you want to have an extra card in hand, or Hapless Researcher. It's like a really bad way you can get card advantage in this deck. I've always wanted to make an Ephemerate Augur deck like this. So they missed on that one. So they have Scred. So they're casting right now. They cast Brainstorm already. So we don't know cards in their hand, but they have to deal with this. Alright, let's just lead Preordain. Bottom these lands. Counterspell? Exhume. I mean, I can Exhume right now. Okay, they just concede. They just didn't want to waste time. They need to get more trophies. Got them. Sweet. All right. Do I want to change anything? We saw Thraben Inspector. That's an interesting one to have. Wonder if they have Core Skyfisher as well. Don't think that really changes anything. Could have a third Dragon Breath. I mean, is this really doing anything? All it does is help me find Crusher. I guess having one is fine. I think Hapless is bad because that's also like card disadvantage. It's essentially like 1 mana, draw a card, discard a card in this matchup. Sometimes we do need that, but it's not ideal. It's like a lot worse than Careful Study. Alright, I'm going to keep this. We have blues and black source. We have Ponder to find Crusher, and we have Careful Study to discard Crusher, and Dragon Breath, and then Exhume. So we have almost everything except Crusher. This looks good here. Opponent can easily disrupt us though. Another Exhume is fine. Alright, I'm going to lead Ponder. Counterspell, Preordain, Exhume. And having a million Exhumes isn't bad, and drawing Counterspell isn't bad as well. I can't bottom these just because I do need to draw this Preordain, and drawing Counterspell is really good as well. Next turn, what I can do is I can draw the Counterspell, cast Preordain, bottom the Exhume, and then play even a Bog early just to get a black source into play. Okay, they Augur and get Counterspell. It's pretty good. Okay, so now I Preordain, hopefully find a Crusher. Huh, there's Evolving Wilds. Evolving Wilds, don't think is good enough. I'm just going to bottom both of these. There's Island. Interesting. So I can just get the Bog into play now. I don't really get to fully utilize it. I don't want to Careful Study yet, as awkward as it is, because I don't have a Crusher to discard yet. That being said, I do have one good card to discard, and I want to keep the cards flowing. I only have 5 other discard outlets in the deck, and 3 more Careful Studies, and the 1/1s. Do I Careful Study or not? No, I haven't seen any Spellstutter sprites. I have a feeling they're on the more controlling version and they don't have Spellstutter. That being said, we know they have Counterspell in their hand. I need to keep the cards flowing, I think. I'm just going to go for this. Okay, that was not good. I think I can discard Island and then I can play a Backwater next turn and save my Bog. Yeah. Still, I mean, if I was slowly drawing like those cards off the top, I'd kind of be in the same position. Except even worse, because now I can just draw more Ponders and Preordains. Now they're just leaving up Counterspell because they're scared, so that's good. There's a Ponder. I wonder if I play Island Ponder to fight over this Ponder. I don't think so. I'm just going to Ponder. If they want to Counterspell it, that's fine. Okay, there's Crusher. And Careful Study. Jeez. And Duress. Wow, this is like literal perfect. So I think I want to draw Duress. Well, it doesn't really matter. I think I want to draw Duress and then Careful Study and play a tapped land here. And then just go for a big turn next turn. This is looking good. Next turn I can Duress into Careful Study with Counterspell backup. So that's a lot. This is looking good. Okay, Bonder's Ornament. They're just leaving Counterspell up. That's not very much. 4 cards in hand. We have Duress. Alright, let's just lead on Duress. We know our top card is Crusher. So we're not going to be able to Exhume Crusher this turn. But we needed Duress. Okay, wow, this is actually really interesting. Because I can Counterspell this Counterspell. That actually seems really good to me. I'm not going to miss on this Duress. There's like no... Oh my god, I do. I was like, there's no chance I miss on Duress. Augur of Bolas, Muldrifter Chancery. Ugh. That was annoying. So they're probably just going to hardcast Muldrifter next turn. They might just cast Augur of Bolas. I think I'm just going to go Island Careful Study. Brutal. Should not have counterspelled, but hindsight's 20/20, right? Okay. And now it's just looking like if I still had counterspell, it would just be insane at this point. Okay, Evoke Muldrifter is smart, but I do have Bog, so might not work out for them. And they'll probably just Chancery, try to rep counterspell. Oh, they drew Ephemerate too. Jeez. That was pretty brutal. And playing Augur. I am going to get to Crusher with Haste here, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. They put Ponder into their hand. Alright. Alright, let's do it. No reason to Bog right now. I can Bog main 2 if I want. Because if they sack creatures here, I'll just Bog them away. Yeah, okay. Or maybe I save Bog for next turn as well. One, two, three, four, five. Let's just do it now. They get to draw 2 more cards. Let's hope they don't have Journey to Nowhere. A lot of times those decks play like 1 or 2 Journey. And that Muldrifter into Ephemerate was insane. Great match though. Hardcast Muldrifter. Oh, Stonehorn Dignitary. I wasn't really expecting them to have this lock either. I think we might just be dead to that. Oh, we shouldn't have played Bog because now they still have Ephemerate in the graveyard. I should have waited. I 100% should have waited. They choose to not shuffle as well. Okay, there's Counterspell. That's something. So I skip my combat. Then it's just going to be rough here. What is this? Bonder's Ornament's totally fine. Another Stonehorn. Gonna counter it. Oh, they have the Pyroblast. Okay. Well, they might not have a flicker effect right now. I just haven't seen this lock yet. I wasn't really expecting that. That being said, I'm not sure if there's anything I could have done. The return planes. Okay, there's Angler. Well, I'm just going to cast it and act like I have Counterspell. Pass. Cast Muldrifter. I really should have waited on the Bog. If they cast... Uh-oh. What is this? 6 mana? 5 mana. I feel like this is just hard cast Muldrifter. Just think for a second. Let it resolve. It's a Ghostly Flicker here. They even run that card? Probably not. They have 6 snow permanents right now. So they can block and Scred. If I'm able to attack, I'm just going to attack with both next turn. It's looking like I might be able to. Yeah, this has been a great match. Oh, Muddle, great draw. Great draw. I can even transmute for Counterspell. However, that's a little risky. If they have like a bounce spell, I'll be able to muddle it, but I'm just going to go to combat. If we get to attack, then I'll muddle for Counterspell. Main 2. And if they send this Crusher to the yard... Okay, well now I can't really Exhume. Sack Bonder's Ornament, Stonehorn Dignitary. They have to block at least Crusher here. Assume they block with Muldrifter, they do. Alright, I have Muddle here. I mean, most of the spells I care about, except a 3rd Stonehorn Dignitary, are instants anyway. There's no way they have like Ephemerate right now. I'm just going to do this. Transmute for Counterspell. I feel like it's just a little bit safer. So why didn't they scred in response? I could have scredded in response to Transmute. I guess they have another scred. Oh, Pyroblast. Okay. Another Muldrifter. Oh, draw a card. Okay. Play the land we know about. Augur? Oh, Echoing Truth. Okay. That doesn't... Do they have a counterspell for this Angler? Just leave Ponder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, potentially 6 mana. I think I'll just draw Preordain, bottom these other cards. Don't think I need them. Yeah, it's bottom. Swamp, huh? Swamp's not going to do it. I can't Exhume because then they get Stonehorn back and I just can't attack. I mean, I could, especially main 2. I think I'm just going to lead on Angler here. It's probably going to get countered. And I risk, if I give them Stonehorn back, yeah, I risk them being able to flicker Stonehorn and then locking me out of the game. But I also get to put Crusher into play. So I think I do it. Because now I skip my combat phase, but who cares, because I would have anyway. They have to put Stonehorn. And I don't even need to use this Dragon Breath. And now I have to hope. Okay, they Ephemerate Stonehorn, so they do have it. But do they have a way to recur it? Draw a card. Land. 2 cards. Attack for 2. Muddle. Okay. So now they're going to flashback Ephemerate and I'm just going to muddle it. I can also let it resolve and then try to counter something else, but I think that's worse. I think I'm just going to try to counter the Ephemerate. This is also why I think blue-black Reanimator is so much better than red-black, is because you need counterspells post-Reanimate. That was obviously a really good draw. Oh, they have Counterspell. Okay, that being said, they still need a way to get Ephemerate back, like an Archaeomancer or something, in order to like complete the lock. Bonder's Ornament draw. Scary. Every time they activate that is scary. I wonder if I should just straight Scred kill my guy. That's not good. I think I'm just dead now. Yeah, this is going to do it. They're just drawing 2 cards a turn. They were able to stabilize here. Great match, though. Great match. Just not even attacking with Stonehorn. Just don't want anything to happen. Alright, I'm willing to pack it in at this point. I guess I'll just take another turn. What's it going to hurt? I can... Oh no, if I played an Evolving Wilds there and sacrificed it, I could have hardcast a Crusher if I drew it, but... Bonder's Ornament, sure. Rainstorm. Felt like we had a chance in this match for sure. We were kind of close this game, and game 1 we just needed to rip an untapped land. Then I think we would have had him. Opponent just still digging. Wonder how many Bonder's Ornament they're on. Probably 2 or 3. All right. All right, 1-1. Carves took us out. He'll probably trophy this league. Really fun playing there, though. That was awesome. Again, I think my best matchups are like Mono Red is very good. I almost never lose that. Tron is probably the best matchup. And then other linear decks are decent. This hand's not great. I'm going to keep keeping these one-landers. Like if you have a one-lander with a lot of card selection, it's okay. So this is either elves or more likely mono green. Right, Backwater is actually a good draw. I wonder if I just lead Ponder turn 1, Careful Study turn 2, plus Backwater. I think I do. There's Exhume. Do I have to draw all these? I do need an Exhume. Alright. Suppose I'll draw them. I could even make the play of like Careful Study discarding Angler and Dragon Breath and then Exhume it, but don't really like taking that line. It uses your Exhume. It's better to save it. So again, yeah, don't really like that. This is just mono green. Mono green on the one-lander as well. It's actually not bad for them, especially when they have Ranger and Rancor. Okay, they make a 4/2. So now I Careful Study. I mean, I'm definitely discarding Dragon Breath. Just wondering if I need to discard this Angler to Exhume it next turn. I really don't want to make that play, so I'm just not going to do that. I don't think that's a winning line. I need to Exhume Crusher, I think, to win. So I can get rid of a Hapless Researcher. think keeping Counterspell is better. Taking at least 5 this turn. I can play out double Hapless Researcher. And just try to dig through my deck and set up an Angler. I can also play 1 Hapless, sacrifice it, and then try to Angler. I need to play Angler to block in this matchup though. I'm not really able to play Angler with Haste. Obviously our best 2 draws would be Untapped Land Crusher, then we can Exhume with Haste. Are they playing like a 2-drop like a Nest Invader? Yep. And Vault Scourge, duh. I knew what they were going to play, I just couldn't think of the name. Can be pretty bad with the names. Okay. So I can leave up Counterspell, but I'm just already under so much pressure. I think I Hapless Researcher, sacrifice it right now. Counterspell. So I have to exile my Dragon Breath to play this Angler, so I'm just going to do it. Sucks, but I have to get this down 100%. If they have any pump spell or something, we're just dead. Could also not block this turn, especially if they just send all. That way I can leave up Counterspell next turn. I think that's the line, actually. If they just send, I'm just not going to block. Because they can also just, even if they just block, even if they just like let their, if they attack with all and I block Skargan and it just dies, and then they go like Hunger of the Howlpack on Vault Scourge. Yeah, okay, well it's kind of good and kind of bad that they're not sending with all. Another Nest Invader. Wedgewalker. Bog doesn't do anything. So I'm just going to play Hapless. I think I'm going to play Bog because I want to be able to Exhume Counterspell if I need to. Have another Bog if we need, and now I'll just pass. Definitely cannot attack. Having Counterspell up here is nice. Just need to find Crusher. We even have another Bog to clear their graveyard if we need. I think I just have to counter this almost certainly. If it's a creature though, it's kind of annoying. But yeah, I'm probably just going to counter whatever this is. Are they casting like a Savage Swipe? Maybe they'll cast like Savage Swipe here, and then that doesn't even work because Savage Swipe only pumps if it's 2 power. Maybe Savage Swipe plus Hunger of the Howlpack or something. If they Savage Swipe my Hapless, I'm just going to sack it. Or just River Boa. I'm just going to counter it. That lets them put another permanent into play. It's a 2/1 unlock or regenerate. I just can't allow that. Alright, Crusher off the top. And the question is, when do I sack this Hapless? I do not have infinite time by any means. Dragon Breath. I think I'm going to wait one more turn. Crusher would literally have to be my top card. And I think if I wait one turn and then I find Crusher in the next 2 turns, I'll still be able to win. So this is probably a Hunger, I assume. Could be a Vines of Vastwood. If it's Vines, I'm just like screwed. I think I just have to like do this now. Could not block with Hapless, but now it's a free like gain 2 life, sack draw. If Crusher's the top card, it's a good spot. kept the Bog here just in case some of their more of their creatures die. I can Bog them, then Exhume in the same turn. Having a couple Bogs is really nice in this deck. It's got to be Vines, right? Yeah. Couldn't have really blocked any differently. Suppose I'll sack now. I could draw Counterspell or Muddle. Preordain, that's unfortunate. I would have liked to cast that last turn. So I'm down to 8. Now even if I crush her with haste, I'm not really going to be able to race. There's another Exhume. Bottom, top. Ponder. Now I can't even discard a crusher though, that's the problem. Muddle doesn't do anything. Alright, I have to just put a Angler back into play, but I don't think that does it either. Maybe if I just draw like Careful Study into Crusher next turn now, I'll be able to get him. I'm not going to give it haste because I don't want to attack here anyway. You really need the early crushers. Like the later crushers don't really do it. Alright, well, they may have another pump spell, but I can't play around it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because they can just pump something else and kill me. Yeah, I'm probably dead regardless now because they just rankle up like a Vault Surge. Yeah, or their Hexproof guy. Plus Savage Swipe, sure. Alright. Gurmag seems decent. Echoing Decay is great. Nausea and Shrivel are reasonable, but most of their guys are like X2s, or a lot of them are. Maybe it's worth it. Gurmag I think is big enough that I want it. Diabolic Edict can also do something, but I think they have too many dorks, or it's not worthwhile. Now Hapless can block sack. I think Muddle is just a little bit slow in this matchup. I'm just gonna go like this. Looks totally fine. Don't want to know. Don't. Dispel can like be okay, but doesn't counter Savage Swipe. Sure. Wonder if I even just go Terramorphic right now for Island. I don't think so. I'm just gonna go Preordain. Bottom, top. Now I need to find Careful Study. Sucks to like have to draw Crusher there, but I think we do. Like I think the way we win this matchup is by exhuming a Crusher, so I need to draw one of them. Alright, Ponder's good. So I think I actually want to Ponder before fetching, in case there's one good card I want to draw. Exactly. So now I can draw Preordain, draw it, and then fetch Island. Could even fetch Swamp here, but I think fetching Island's better. Alright. I don't hate our position, but if our opponent's draw is really good, we don't find the combo, we're obviously just gonna get run over. But if I can find the combo at least in the next like 2 turns, I think the opponent's going to be in a rough spot. That being said, they are attacking for 4 on turn 2. There's a Backwater, so I could just leave up Counterspell this turn. Although countering a creature isn't necessarily even that great. I think I'll just Preordain. Nausea, huh? It's bottom top. Really need to find Careful Study. Bottom bottom, we already have Exhume. And not looking great. This deck just needs a lot of pieces, and have not really been finding them here. Opponent obviously not giving us much time to either. They're not just gonna let us do our thing. Cast a million cantrips this game though. Another Crusher doesn't do anything. All right, go. Just couldn't find the discard outlet this game. So kind of like a quick 1-2 here. I'll battle on if I end up losing this. Hunger for +1/+1, just to untap it, I guess. Resolves. Oh, on the Riverbow, sure. Could have countered it, but I think we're just dead. We're at 5. Even if I Crusher this turn, it's just, I don't think it's going to be enough. Alright, well there's Careful Study. So I guess we'll see. Because I can block this, take 4, but I can't leave up Counterspell. Oh, I can go to 6. Let's do it. Just don't think this is going to be enough. Just a little bit too late. Turn 5 is a little bit too slow here. Couldn't quite find the discard outlet this game. Huh. Just Vines on the Riverbow right now. Oh, Savage Swipe? Oh, and then that doesn't work. Oh, then Hunger. Hit for 6. Xaxes. That was a cool play. We got by the mono green menace. Next turn we were going to be able to Exhume with Counterspell up, but I don't even know if that would have really done much. We could have gone Exhume plus Stinkweed. It was closer than I thought. Alright, let's go round 4 here. Turn it around. If I end up losing this round, I might drop in Cube or something. Don't really need to play out the 1-3 league for 50 ticks. Still happy with this list. Like, our match against cards is really close. Yeah, mono green can always be rough. They can just put a lot of pressure on you. We haven't had any T2 crushers, or I don't even think we've had any T3 crushers. I think going into the next league with this deck, I would play a couple Lotus Petals. Okay, opponent might have just canceled out of it. Because I think just being fast is very important. As we saw there, like our deck functioned. We cast a bunch of cantrips, then we cast a turn 5 Exhume for Crusher, and that's just not enough. It's not really enough against control. It's not really enough against aggro. You really need to be casting like turn 3 Crushers consistently. It's just tough because Exhume's like the only reanimate spell you have. I know they just printed Rise again, but I actually already have a league with that if you want to check it out on youtube.com/snapbolt. But it's just like, it's 5 mana. So even at that point, if you're casting like turn 5 Rise again for Crusher with Haste, it's not even that insane. I kind of recognize this name as well. Keep this hand. It's a little bit slow, but it has a lot of the pieces we need. Discard Outlet, Cantrip, Hapless, some protection, something good to discard. Right, we're probably against just red-white mid-range. I think I actually just lead Hapless. I have something to discard right now. I'll just Bog, play my land. I can Preordain next turn. I have liked in the past just play out the Hapless first. Lightning Bolt, Hapless. Alright, I'll discard this Dragon Breath for free. Oh, maybe not. Discard Crusher. More important to discard Crusher, because if we find Exhume, we can just Exhume Crusher, obviously. So I'm probably just going to lead Careful Study. That way I can discard Dragon Breath and I have a chance to hit lands. / Exhume. Big miss there. We didn't find a blue source. I'm not going to exile my graveyard to cast this Angler here because I need my graveyard. I can cast another Careful Study next turn though. Or start with Preordain even. Cycle a Secluded Step. Tap land. Oh please, there it is. Finally get to live the dream, so to speak here. It's going to be a concession. Okay. So we're against red-white. This matchup's actually not that easy. I like Duress because you can take Journey to Nowhere. That's a really problematic card in this matchup. Don't think Hydroblast is good. I have sided in a Null in the past when I know they have multiple journeys, but I'm not going to do it in the dark. Also don't think Angler does that much. They have a lot of like chump blockers. That being said, it's reasonable. Echoing Decay Nausea is also interesting because they often make a fair amount of tokens, like with Battle Screech. I don't think I want to be too reactive. Alright, let's go. Just minimally sideboard here, I think. Just bring in a couple Duress. This hand's not great. It's got decent mana and a bunch of counters, so I'll keep one Ponder to find stuff. Alright, Muddle is good. Huh. I mean, I'm keeping these cards. I can just keep countering stuff for the first however many turns of the game. The Raven is totally fine. Now I'm just going to leave up Counterspell 100%. Then next turn I'm probably going to play Bog, so I can start Duressing. Drawing Crusher next turn. Red Prism. I'm going to counter this 100%. This is crucial to their deck. Yeah, they don't really need to fix their mana, but with Core Skyfisher, it just allows them to keep drawing really well. So do I want to Bog them? I think just to get the Black Source into play is nice. Probably counter almost anything they do here. Boros Garrison, sure. Cycle. The Raven Inspector. I'm not going to counter that actually. I can just take one off these for a long time. I don't even know if I need to Duress yet. think I will. Because next turn I can muddle. Oh, there's Journey. Okay. And Glinthawk. And they have Bog. Jesus, that's bad. Let's see. So they can only Glinthawk a clue right now. Could let that resolve. I can muddle for Exhume right now. And then if I draw a Careful Study, I can just reanimate in the same turn. I don't think I really need to counter this Glinthawk. So I'm going to do this. Just get Exhume. Hope to draw Careful Study. Or the Looter. Of course, top deck Skyfisher would have countered that. Play another Crag. So their hand is just Bog. Now we're under a fair amount of pressure and they have double clue. 5 mana in play. I have 1 counterspell up this turn. Draw again. Hit for 6. See, just combo not coming together consistently here. Radiant Fountain, you got it. Yeah, we're dead now. Because now even if I Crusher, I lose still. Couldn't quite get there. That happens with this deck sometimes. There's just a lot of pieces to the combo, so it's hard to find them all. Null is interesting because they have like Pathetic Prism and Journey to Nowhere. Countering the Pathetic Prism is huge. I'm going to go for the Annuls. I know we just couldn't find a discard outlet, but I do like siding some out. Careful Study is like the really good one, and you don't want to draw too many Haplesses and have them just like make you lose your entire like hand to card disadvantage. Probably should have just brought in a Null to start with. I know they're going to have at least 4 Prism and now some number of Journeys. Alright, let's see if we can get up to 2-2 here. Thought I submitted as well. I think I did. It's just lagging, I think. I'll keep this. I wonder if I want to lead Backwater. I don't think that can be right. I can Backwater on turn 2. Bottom the Swamp. Top the Crusher. Probably plan on just playing Island turn 2. Oh god. I want to leave up Counterspell here. And no land, but they have a Relic. They might want to pop their Relic early. I think I'm just going to Backwater Pass, not even a Ponder. Don't want it just to get exiled from my yard. I'd rather keep it. Get my Backwater into play anyway. It's not bad. They miss a land drop here. Okay, they hit. Now Hapless Researcher is actually really good because it can play around Relic, potentially. Hydroblast. Interesting. So if I counterspell this, is that worth? I feel like probably not. I guess I can Muddle the Mixture counter this. Sure, I'm going to do that. I want to kind of try to keep pulling ahead here. They'll Relic, exile my Muddle, sure. I just think I didn't really need the Muddle. I didn't need to transmute for anything. Oh, Stinkweed Imp. That's an interesting one. Still don't think this is good enough. Just gonna shuffle. Alright, there's Careful Study. So if they tap out for something, I can put a Crusher into play. Oh, did I just miss a land drop? I think I did. Just totally missed a land drop. Not sure if that really matters. Alright, I'm going to Careful Study. Gonna have to just get through this relic at some point. Oh wow. I'm gonna have to counter it. It's not a good feeling. Guess I can discard Crusher, Backwater at this point, and then play a Preordain this turn. So then I have another untapped Black Source in hand. I think a Null, don't have the luxury of keeping that on top. I'm going to need to find another Crusher and another Exhume because my Crusher is going to get exiled to that relic. I'll have to kind of just like Exhume into that relic, unfortunately. Thought I almost misclicked and just exiled my own Crusher there. They're hitting some lands. Certainly not ideal. Stinkweed Imp. Interesting, interesting. I think I'm just going to play Stinkweed, continue to force the opponent to leave up 1 mana. If they want to crack Relic before I cast Exhume, that's totally fine with me. They don't. This is like a Prism or Journey to Nowhere. Just counter it. I'd like to have my Stinkweed around. Should buy me a lot of time. Alright, I'll lead Ponder. Can always Ponder Shuffle here if I want. Alright. I'll draw Ponder. I think I just have to get through this relic at this point. I probably should have just drawn that Counterspell. Yep. Ponder. Could have just drawn the Counterspell, and I probably should have. I think I was a little hasty there. Clicked one too many times by accident, but drawing counter here isn't even that great. It would have been good to put counter on top instead of this Ponder and then just leave that up. I think that was the line. Duress. I think I'm just going to be dead here. Jeez. Yeah, this is not good. 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. Just looking like it's not coming together here. All right, let's go. Just going to continue to pass. File, sure. They probably don't. Oh, are they going to bolt my guy now? Sure. Oh, and then Bog. All right, I'll concede at this point. They just have too many permanents. It was a good league. 1 and 3. I think I'm going to drop at this point. Sometimes you 5-0, sometimes you 4-1, sometimes you 1-3. Our match against Carves was very close. It was actually closer than it looked, I think, against Mono Green, and we just couldn't quite get there, couldn't quite function. Had a lot of not great draws overall. Again, the deck's not tier 1, but hope you enjoyed the content. This is youtube.com/snapbolt and twitch.tv/snapboltgames. Till next time, thanks so much for watching.